Turns out, actually, nothing was in order. "1967, one of the most important years of the space race, was when the efforts to go to the moon had become real. The US's Apollo program was targeting the end of the decade to go to the moon, so the Soviets created the Soyuz program, which also aimed at getting to the moon, but faster. Although Soyuz 1 was just to test craft equipment in space, it was a highly ambitious mission that had to be launched fast. Several political pressures were there because it was the 50th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution, and of course, the US. However, doing this mission was a tremendous risk, since the previous two test missions had both failed. But having the most experienced pilot, Vladimir Komarov, their oversights would be covered up and the mission would be a success. Right? The mission plan for Soyuz 1 was extremely ambitious. Komarov had to enter space, then have a second spacecraft, Soyuz 2, launch a day later, and then have the two spacecrafts dock, transfer members, and return to Earth. But, unfortunately, nothing would go to plan. On the morning of April 23rd, 1967, Soyuz 1 had a smooth launch, until it became everything but smooth. When the solar panels were deployed, the left solar panel became stuck, which caused a whole list of problems. The asymmetry in the spacecraft caused stabilization problems, power generation was cut in half, and the undeployed panel obstructed the sun, messing up the altitude control system. These issues would impact the end of the flight greatly. Komarov tried everything to fix the problems, whether it was using propellant to stabilize the craft, or even kicking the solar panel to deploy it. But nothing worked. The Soviets on the ground saw this and changed the mission plan of Soyuz 2. Instead of docking, it was going to fix the solar panel. The plan made sense, but before the launch, lightning had struck Soyuz 2. The launch had been called off. Everybody was aware that this had escalated into a dangerous situation, so the flight director ordered Komarov to come back to Earth after 18 orbits, but re-entering Earth was going to be the toughest challenge for Komarov, since nothing was working. The Soviets had built Soyuz 1 to re-enter Earth using retro rockets, boosters that fired in the opposite direction to reduce the spacecraft's speed and re-enter Earth. If the speed is too little, it'll spend too much time in the atmosphere and burn up. If the speed is too much, it'll enter Earth too fast and burn up again. The retro rockets have to reduce the speed to the perfect amount. But due to the messed up altitude control system, the retro rockets stopped firing way earlier than expected. The entire fate of the mission lied in Komarov's hands. Even though the asymmetry of the spacecraft made it drift away far from the landing site, Komarov used the manual system to perfectly maneuver the spacecraft back into Earth for a safe re-entry. But just when Komarov thought he was in the clear, he wasn't. Instead of heading to safety, he was heading straight to the ground, fast. After deploying the drogue parachutes to slow the spacecraft down, everything seemed normal. But when deploying the main parachute, it just didn't come out. And his misfortune didn't end there. He quickly deployed the backup parachute, only for that to get tangled with the drogue chutes and not unfurl properly. Komarov was doomed. He crashed into the ground at 90 miles per hour, instantly killing him. More people could have died, and the mechanics messed up really badly. All of this was revealed in the after investigation, where they found out that the mechanics had made a grave mistake. When testing Soyuz 1 and 2 under heat, they forgot to add a thermal protectant over the parachute areas, which resulted in a hard resin forming, preventing the parachutes from coming out. This meant two things. One, Soyuz 1 was doomed from the start. And two, if Soyuz 2, the mission that was supposed to dock with Soyuz 1, was launched, it would have met the same fate. This could have all been prevented if the mechanics had been careful when testing the spacecrafts. But because they weren't cautious, this is what happened.